So I know you have to get going in a little bit, Sabrina. So I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to see if there's anything in specific that you wanted to say to the people.
Well, in short, this might sound cliche. You probably heard it before, but keep your head up and keep moving. Keep pushing. You have a voice, and you do matter. Those are the things that I would definitely share with the Black community. Don't be afraid to speak up. That's something that I've been learning to do, because even though we may, we're speaking about making white people uncomfortable when it comes to having conversations. But if we're going to be real, some of us are uncomfortable with having those conversations too. So I think being comfortable with or getting used to the discomfort, and learning to find comfort within the discomfort, if that makes sense. But listen, man, learn to clock out sometimes. Margaret, I commend you, Natalie, Paola, for just fighting the good fight. And this is kind of random, but don't ever don't get into social media, Margaret, ever. I'm actually, you've inspired me. I'm serious, because coming from empath to empath, I really do think that if I was on the other side of this and if I didn't plug into social media as much, I actually talked to Paola not too long ago about this. Yeah, it really does consume you. I had to clock out for a little bit. And so that's one thing I would share as well. It's okay to don't feel guilty for clocking out sometimes. That's okay. And I actually had to really remind myself that. Learn to preserve yourself as well and do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're okay and make sure that you're steady. And sometimes you might wake up, you might not be okay. I hope that covered half of what you asked, but thank you for having me here, Lola. I appreciate it. I thank all of you. This panel was great.
We will get together and have a good old time. And again, congratulations on your MSW program. I can't wait for the fall. I'm hoping that this experience in the hospital is going to be one that you learn from, you grow from, and that you're able to enjoy it, and it doesn't stress you out. Okay? Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. You guys take care. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Bye.
I think Sabrina brought up a good point that I wanted to transition to about social media in this day and age and learning when to clock out. There's just an overconsumption of these violent videos, the things that people put out. I probably stress Margaret out so much because I'm always screenshotting things on Facebook, on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure in her mind, she's like, I got off of these social media sites, Paola. Stop sending it to me. But there are some times when I see things and I'm just like you actually think this? This came, your brain formulated this thought and you put it out to the world? This is what's happening in real life? And I guess maybe for now, what do you do when you see things on social media that are overwhelming you? What do you do to cope with that? When do you feel like you have to clock out?
I guess usually if I feel like I need to clock out, I won't go on social media and then I'll try to go somewhere. I know I've done days at the beach where I just sit there. I'm not really in the sun, just sitting on my tent. I probably take a nap. I know I've been heavy on working out more recently, trying to get the energy out. For me, and then I'm also a big stress eater. That's when I know when something's more, especially, I'm a big stress eater, especially when it comes to sweets. But clocking out, I feel is important, but it's also hard to do because I know sometimes you feel oh well, you're not contributing or you're not doing something when this is the time to do something. So you feel you're not as so much part of the fight, especially if you're clocking out. But then again, you have to put self-care first, which is what I'm trying to learn to do this year.
I feel for me, my issue is I fall down the rabbit hole. I watch Instagram stories.
Yes.
I click on things and then it brings me somewhere else. And
binge watching.
And that's what happened to me this past 2 days. I don't know if you guys learned about the woman down in Fort Hood. She was a soldier who had reported she was sexually assaulted. And then she went missing for 60 days, and they just found a body, and they think it's hers. And the people who are involved, one guy killed himself. But, the thing is, you start off with one thing, and it leads to another. And you just get so consumed. And like Natalie said, you don't want to be somebody who was like, I'm privileged in the sense where I can clock out of this right now. But it's like there's certain things that are just horrible to hear. Like even hearing things like when people watch like true crime stuff, like even hearing about people describing what they heard or watched, I'm just like, that is too much for me. My brain, I don't want to hear it. Like it's heavy on the mind and the body. Like these are horrific acts. Like especially when we talk about like sexual assault or like murdering people, I can't do it. I didn't watch the full video of George Floyd, and I refuse to, and I don't ever want to. I don't think it's a snuff film, and I don't know who's profiting off of that, but there has to be somebody who's making money off of his death, and I'm not gonna try to put money in that person's pocket.
I applaud you guys for being on social media and like checking out and checking in, and also using your platforms to spread awareness of a lot of things, because I think that is important, and that is like the more positive aspect of social media. And sometimes I get like in my own head, and I'll say to myself, oh, well, you can't really do anything. Like,
nah,
you
girl,
quit it and things like that. But really, seriously speaking, 99% of the time, I'm really happy that I'm not on social media, because it was just a lot. And like, Lola, you know this. I talked about quitting social media since I had it. Like, I didn't have it for that long, but since I got it, I was like, well, I need to delete. I've been saying that for years, 4 years, and it's just a lot. Like, it is a trauma to open an app, any app, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, like to open it, and every single time you open it, somebody's dead, someone is dying, like someone's in jail, like I'm not saying that that's all that's on social media, because there is good things, but like, I don't like it. It's just like a trauma. And I applaud people that can like use their platforms and take a step back too. Cause like that step back is really important, to check on your mental health and check on yourself and make sure that you're okay. Because like, we're not in this world to just like overstimulate ourselves to the point of pain, you know?
I used to be someone who like idolized celebrities. So like at one point in time, I was somebody who was like, oh my God, so-and-so said this. So I would like freak out. Like, I can't believe I invested in them. And at one point in time, we were talking about Doja Cat and her whole shenanigans. And you're like, I'm not surprised. And I feel like I've gotten to that point where like I hear things about certain celebrities and I'm like, really? That's interesting. Like, I'm not surprised. And I feel like that's something that social media has done, where it's like, it's numbed you to certain things. Like, people have like the shock factor, but I'm just like, I'm not surprised. Like when Leah Michelle, when she got called out, I'm like, that's really messed up, but like, not surprised. Not surprised.
At this point, I'm more surprised when people don't do racist stuff or don't commit microaggressions like that. If there's literally nothing on you, I'm more surprised.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because now with the whole false activism, people are like coming out and saying, well, this person isn't talking the talk. And I feel like Leah Michelle is a perfect example of that. She was talking to this girl, or her coworker, Samantha Ware, and was like, I would shit in your wig, all this stuff. And I'm like, first of all, who says things like that? Like, again, how does your brain formulate that thought? And you just like, I'm going to say this to this person. But the idea is like, you say you care about Black people and you care about their livelihood, but on a day-to-day basis, how are you treating everyday Black people that you interact with? And you're telling them you're going to shit in their wigs. Like, I feel like a lot of white people, and even like non-white people of color, because the anti-Blackness is strong amongst other people aside who are white, where it's like, well, I'm not blatantly racist. I'm not saying the N-word, and I don't blatantly feel like I hate people. And they feel like, well, I'm not as racist. Like, there's like a racism spectrum, and like, here's Hitler, and then here's, you know, where you are with your little microaggressions. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it's not as severe, but it's just as hurtful. And the worst thing is like, you have to like learn how to cope with it. Like, I have to cope with that lady. I say good morning to her because like I have gotten to a point where it's like, what else can I do? This has been done to me, and I just have to like learn how to deal with it, kind of get over it. And like, that's ridiculous.
But that's like the sad thing of not having privilege though, because if it was reversed, she wouldn't have to just get used to it. You know what I mean?
She definitely would have reported you.
Yeah, which I told you to report her.
Listen,
I told you to go to HR. I'm telling you, thank God people at my job are not like that. Well,
But
they
knowing
can
who the HR was.
reporting. The first, I don't care what your term of endearment is for your child. Sis, I'm going to HR.
mm-hmm. I think
You're not your child. It's a professional setting.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. I remember, and this is why I also get upset with Karens who call the police for all little things, where it's like, I think about, like, even in the act of you saying something that hurts me, I'm thinking about, like, what is a proper punishment? Is it you getting fired? The label of a racist is not something that you want to label just any old body for. Like, I'm still thinking of you, even in this little microaggression against me. And I have a hard time trying to turn that off and not realizing that that's not something that they have. Because if you're walking in the neighborhood and they don't think you live there, they have no qualms calling the police on you. Versus me, I would never, like, in a million years, like, I could never, like, if I see someone who I don't know in a neighborhood, I keep walking. A, I keep walking. B, the right thing in my mind is, like, maybe they moved here. Let me leave them alone. And if I want to have a conversation, I'm going to have a conversation, not just to simply investigate who they are and be like, well, where do you live? Oh, you live in that building? Let me see a key. Like, I don't understand. I can't. My brain does not understand how their brain works. Like, it just does not make any sense.
It's the spirit of entitlement.
That entitlement is the devil's work, because I still
It sure
like,
is.
And I just, like, in my brain, it just, like, it does not make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? Like, this entitlement, like, where did it come from?
Yeah.
The system built them up to be entitled.
It sure did.
It's for them, to further them, to make them bigger, to make them better, to make them brighter.
The system
white
is built
privileges
matter more than ours.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram account called Karen's Going Wild, and okay, so if you watch it, it's just a bunch of, white women really losing their cool in certain situations where it really could be de-escalated. That's the thing. And there was this couple, they were harassing this young man. I think he was brown. I'm not too sure. We really didn't see his face. And he's writing Black Lives Matter in front of, like, his, like, area of his apartment. And they're like, well, why are you writing that? You don't live here. And then he's like, do you guys live here? And he goes, no, but we have a friend that lives here, and we know you don't live here because our friend lives here. And I'm like, you don't live here, and you still feel the need to police other people.
Mind your business.
Exactly. I just don't understand where the missing link is of mind your own business. But, like, they mind their business when they shouldn't be minding their business. You know what I mean? Like, if they see injustices, they just turn they turn away and look away. But if it's something important to them, they're like, oh, well, I have to get involved. And I'm like, how? We need to have a conversation.
I just don't understand why freedom of speech apparently it's only a right for white people. Because, like, why can't somebody wear a shirt that says Black Lives? Like, what? I don't understand. Why is that? First of all, why is that your business? Why do you feel like you have to make it your business? Why do you feel that you can open your mouth and talk to someone that you don't know, a complete stranger? Like, that's weird. I don't just talk to people I don't know.
But then again, I feel like we're dealing with human. People are brought up with a different moral code. So I feel like we're a little more grounded, if that makes sense.
But, like,
because we have a lot more to think about, a lot more to lose. So those are constantly in our mind when we make decisions. Other people, they just live life just to live life, and it don't even really matter because they're just gonna get by.
You know what? Here's the moral code to live by.
I see people
don't talk to me if you don't know me. Mind your business. Don't touch my hair. Don't ask me to touch my hair. Don't ask me why I talk the way I talk. Don't ask me why I'm wearing what I'm wearing. Don't ask me where I live. Don't ask me if I live here. Mind your business. If you don't know me and I don't know you, don't speak to me. There's the moral code to live by.
It really is not that hard, because, like, I see people with MAGA hats and, like, bumper stickers, and I don't say nothing.
Questions.
I don't care. I don't even care enough. I'm like, okay, cool. You spend your money on some merch, on a Cheeto Puff. That's what you want to spend your money on? Cool. That's your business.
You Cheeto Puff who does not care if you live or die of COVID.
But that's your business. And like, I don't care that enough. I might disagree about his, like, him as his existence, but like, I'm not going to sit there while you're shopping for asparagus and Stop and Shop and be like, yo, why you wearing that shirt? It's just not in me. Nobody.
The audacity. That's what it is. The audacity.
The caucasity. Caucasity.
It's like
caucasity.
I don't understand
the audacity.
I don't understand
of Caucasian.
Like, I read something about what did we do to them that was so bad that this is our result. What?
Nothing. The truth is nothing. You're literally so inferior and so insecure in yourself that you feel the need to oppress other people who you know nothing about, who've done nothing to you.
Another thing about social media, I don't know if you guys are on like TikTok, and like this is how I know like people have problems. There's a bunch of like high school students putting out racist TikTok videos, and then like, oh, I didn't know it was racist. I'm like, even like in your entertainment, like you physically want to cause us harm, and in the medium you consume, you want to humiliate us, because like there was nothing about these TikTok videos where I was like, okay, this is a joke. I'm laughing at this. It's like blatant racism. There was a girl and her boyfriend pouring water, like a recipe of what makes a black person, with all these heinous, stupid ass stereotypes. And I'm just like, the humor you find is out of belittling and reducing people. And that is a problem. And don't tell me it's a joke. And that's what I keep reiterating to people, like, it's not a joke. You're just saying that because you find it funny, but it's not a joke. It's not. That's how you really feel. And if you want to be a racist, be a racist. Say it with your chest. So I can avoid you. And that's that.
But you know what? You shouldn't be racist.
You shouldn't be, but there are racist people. And I'm not okay with racist people, but I'm okay with you being racist and you having your space and being honest about what you're doing, rather than you being covert, lying, trying to I just don't get it. Like, it just
saying that you're sorry when you're really not.
Exactly. Like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Just, you know what? Yeah, you're like, be honest. There are plenty of racist people who get away with it and still make money. So we live in a society that makes it permissible. So you saying it with your chest is really not going to do anything except let people know who you are and how you feel. And at least I can avoid you. That's how I can avoid you.
But the apology is just for them not to get canceled, is really what it is.
Exactly.
The apology is not because they're really sorry. It's just so that they don't get canceled. That's why they're over here retracting statements and blah, 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 because they know public opinion plays a large role.
Oh, I said I don't want to know if you're racist. Because honestly, like, at that point, I won't speak to you. Don't get me wrong. I can appreciate saying it with your chest, but don't say it with your chest to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You need to keep that inside. I don't want to hear it.
Where do we go from here? I know right now, like you guys were mentioning before, football's coming back. All these distractions are coming back.
How to pull away from our narrative.
What are some tools to like keep people honed in? Like, what can you do? Because, like, again, it's a balancing act. You want to have some space to decompress and not be overwhelmed. But like, how do we not let this fall to the wayside?
Keep applying pressure. It doesn't matter. You know what I love? Okay, my sister has been sending me like some screenshots of like comment sections. I love in the comment sections under posts where people are like, yeah, we don't care, justice for Breonna Taylor. Like, I love to see it. I love to see it. Like, okay, if football's coming back, I don't care, but you better be in the stands or in your house or whatever. Yeah. We get justice for Breonna Taylor, justice for George Floyd, justice for Ahmaud Arbery. Like, keep applying pressure. Part of the government and all of these people's point is to just distract us, and that's why I'm saying we need to just keep applying the pressure. Even if you enter those spaces that are meant to be a distraction, apply the pressure. Make them know that you didn't forget that just last month you killed so and so. Just it is like we're not gonna let them think that we forgot. We have to keep applying this pressure.
It needs to stay visible.
And people need to vote. Register to vote. Vote.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say everyone has the same Googles. If you live in a certain state, just Google your state name, state representative, state senator, your local representatives, and you can shoot them an email. They don't always respond. They generally don't respond right away, but just keep emailing them and keep bugging them. They have to respond. And that way, when they go out trying to get your vote, you could be like, remember when I emailed you and you to acknowledge me? Now you want my vote. I got a question. What was up? And then they have to like respond. And like, honestly, politicians, their job is to appease people enough to collect a vote. So if you bring up the question and the concern of like, you are not appeasing me, they have to figure it out. They're working for you, even though the system doesn't make it permissible for them to work for you. They do work for you. So Google, it's really easy. Just Google who your local representatives are. Like Natalie said, go out to local city council meeting, board of education meetings. I think for us, like you might think, well, why would I go? I don't got no kids. And it's like, you don't have kids today, but you'll have them tomorrow. And what they implement today will affect your child. And if you never have kids, you should care about the kids of America in general.
And the kids in your community.
Yeah. In November, I mean, I'm going to have to, I'm going to vote for Old Man Joe. I mean, Old Man Joe.
I'm just like, yo.
I'm tired. I'm tired. We don't need any more old white men as president. We literally don't need it. However, if it's Joe or Trump, clearly I'm going to vote for Joe.
Yo, Joe really was trying it this past couple months when he's like, if you don't
vote for me, you're not black.
I'm like, if you don't shut up.
If you don't shut up. Like,
we're not even giving like quality candidates anymore.
They're not.
They don't. But that's the thing. They feel like they don't have to give us.
That's what it is.
They don't have to give us anything. But also, people need to vote.
And just don't vote in November. Every 2 years, every 3 years.
Every 2 years, vote in your local elections because that's what really matters.
And it matters because it affects you directly, okay? There are certain states that don't even have state taxes. So you have to focus and see what's going on in your state. Yes, the federal level is very important and it kind of sets the precedent, but we got to remember the state has a lot of power. That's why you have issues with pro-choice versus pro-life. In certain states, certain things are permissible, or it's just everything's different. Even gun control laws are different and vastly in different states. So you have to figure out what's going on in your town, city, your county, everything. Figure that out because that's what really happens. Like people go, well, this president came over and nothing really changed. I'm like, things change, but they change locally. Okay.
And then also making sure that you're affiliated with a party, whether it's independent, Republican, or Democratic, whatever your flavor, but making sure that you choose one so that you are able to vote in the primaries as well, or you lose that right.
Exactly. I remember when Bernie was running, a lot of my friends couldn't vote for the primaries because they didn't pick a party in time, and then they showed up, but nobody told them that. They were like, oh, I'm registered to vote, but they didn't put a party, so they were like, you can't vote.
Yeah. Also,
and we're a two-party state. We're a two-party state, so the people who were independent still couldn't vote.
Yeah. I also feel like a long-term goal that I would like to see us get to is to getting out of this two-party system. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but the Democrats are not for me, and the Republicans are definitely not for me. So we need to shake the system a little bit, and it's gonna be our generation that needs to come together and do it. Okay, it's not gonna be our parents. It's not gonna be our parents' parents. Like it's literally gonna be us that need to make that change because I'm not happy with what is going on. I'm not happy with the state of politics, and I'm not happy with my representatives and the people who are supposed to be representing my interests. And that's partially my problem because I voted for these clowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really, really need people to know what's going on, but I also need us to start thinking about what we want and how we can make a party system reflect that. Because let me tell you something, they're not ready for us to decide that we don't want to vote Democratic or Republican. And the Black vote is very powerful. There's a reason why all these gosh darn presidents keep talking about the Black vote, the Black vote, the Black vote. It's because it's powerful. The Black vote will make you president.
I don't even understand. Like they know our value, but won't treat us as such. Like I don't understand that part.
It's because most people our age don't vote.
Listen, it is your job as a person between the age of 18 and 30, because that's the demographic they say that doesn't vote. Listen, your parents are in their 50s, maybe in their early 40s, in their 60s. They are voting for things that will not really affect them, okay?
Exactly.
When they vote for things for education, if you are someone in your mid-20s, they're affecting kids who are going to school right now. You got to think about what the future will look like. And again, you don't have to care just because you have kids, but if you plan on having children, you have to understand what you have to. You just have to. It's
but not even about having. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's very important if you plan to have children to pay attention. But even if you don't plan to have children, do you want to live a good life?
That's true.
Do you want your freedoms to be infringed upon? Do you want like your neighbor to go through what people are going through right now? No. So we all need to care. We all need to pay attention. We all need to do better.
But I think also, if you don't know where to start, I'll probably link some videos. I don't know if you guys watch Julesy or Evelyn from the internet, but they're both very educated women who talk about what Blackness feels like in politics. And Julesy just started a series where she's actually talking to her local representatives. Like, she's reached out to them and they're having a whole debate and questions about things, right? So she's kind of showing the map of what you should be doing. So I'll link it down there. I think it seems hard, and it probably is, because you don't get answers or resolutions right away, but it's a starting point. And I think there's like a website where you can find where or who your local representatives are, and I'll try to link that down below so that people have a starting point. And we're doing the work right now, just talking about it, and that's good enough for a moment, to talk to your friends and your coworkers. So don't feel like you have to be like this full-blown social justice warrior who has everything planned out and planning protests and all these other things. It's just, you're doing enough work for what you can handle, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So I'll definitely
every lane. So choose a lane and then stay in that lane.
Definitely want to encourage people to sign up for absentee ballots and mail order ballots, because let me tell you something, this is still the first wave of COVID-19. We are not in the second wave. The second wave will be this fall. The election is this fall. Please, I don't care if you don't want to go out and vote. You can vote in your house, but you have to sign up to do it.
Is there a website where people could, well, maybe I'll Google it. That's the answer of the question. You can Google it. I'm going to try to find all the resources and link it down below in the description box. But that's actually a great idea. If you can't go out, you can vote through an absentee ballot.
It'll take you a day to sign up for it. A day. Yeah. Just one day. If you have your voter registration number, which you should. If you don't, you need to make sure you're registered.
I'm registered, but I don't know that.
If you, well, it depends on, I don't know, Connecticut might be different. So if you go on, I think it's like vote.org or something like that, but yeah. I can double check. What I did was I went and I looked up my voter registration number, and then some people, you could just put in like your driver's license number or something like that. I don't know. And they'll give you that number. Then when you want to put in absentee, just put your name, your address, all those things, your voter registration number, and then they'll just plan to mail. But then they ask you for like where they should be sending your ballot. And then you just put in your address or wherever you're going to be on November 3rd, because this year it's November 3rd. And you will get it like 2 weeks before the 1 week, like 1 to 2 weeks before, and you got to fill it out and mail it back. And then they will give you a slip and a paper to make sure. I mean, this might be like standard for provisional ballots too. I think, well, it is standard for provisional ballots, but I believe for absentee ballots it is as well. They'll like, you should be able to call them and make sure that your ballot was counted.
I'll link all the resources and stuff like that. But it's crazy that Barack Obama was my president from like 8th grade all the way up till the end of college. And then if Trump wins again, he's been my president my whole entire like young adult life, and I don't want that. I just don't want it. I want to thank you both for joining me again, for putting up with this again. I felt so horrible when I had to tell you that we had to refilm it, but I'm thankful that you guys are both willing and came back ready and prepared. I'm so happy that you guys were willing to do it, and you had so many great points. And Margaret, thank you for all your fire descriptions of how to make change happen. And I'm going to put all those links down below. Natalie, thank you again so much for coming. I'll let you guys say your goodbyes. Who wants to go first?
I guess in just closing, you know, I'm very optimistic for the future. I myself am fired up because I can't live like this. I'm either going to leave the United States of America or I'm going to change the United States of America. And since I'm already a citizen, I'd rather change it than leave. I really want to see my people who look like me, even people who don't look like me. Like, I want to see us all win. I want to see us all go forward. And to do that, we need to come together and stand together and vote together within the same interests for a better future. So please, y'all, register to vote and vote because it matters. It does. Do not listen to the propaganda that says your vote does not matter. It does. If it didn't, they would be trying so hard to make you not do it.
I guess I would just like to say I just hope that we continue to stay vigilant. So making sure that we stay united. So that was like maybe the nicest thing to see out of all this, that even though, yes, we're living in a time of racism and everything seems like to be an uproar, but we still find moments of joy, moments to have happy, moments to still feel like us, right? So just continue to live in that unity as we move forward across these next few months. But the fight is not over, not by a long shot.
Thank you guys for joining me, and I will catch you guys in the next video. And like I said, all the links, all the resources will be linked down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.